Hi everyone. I want to talk about a moth. Not very interesting, just a brown old moth, but it has touched me in such a deep way and reminded me how magical this world is that we live in. It's a moth that's called the bogong moth that lives in Australia. It lives in the southeast part of Australia, and every year when it comes out of its pupa, it migrates to the Australian Alps. There's good reason for it because the southeast Australia is very, very hot. And the moth is a nocturnal moth, so it obviously doesn't like too much heat. And when it emerges, it gets up and flies to the Alps where it lies in caves in a dormant state. Now, the most astonishing thing is that the journey is about 1,000 kilometers. And its parents have died months before it's even born. So it's not as if it has somebody to guide them along the way. How does it manage to do that? Well, the scientists have discovered that the moth is able to, first of all, navigate with the Earth's magnetic field, and secondly, with stars. So if the sky is cloudy and it can't see the stars, then it can use the magnetic field of the Earth. And if there's disturbances in the magnetic field of the Earth, it can use the stars. I mean, that's amazing. The moth is 5 centimeters wingspan. So it's not a big moth, and a very ordinary brown-looking moth. It doesn't look very significant. Millions of them, billions of them do this migration. There's been a rapid diminishing of the numbers of moths, and now there's a red alert around it because they're starting to disappear. But there's still enough for scientists to investigate and to recognize what it can do. It has a small pupil eyes so that it can't really see the whole sky, but because the pupil size is very small, it can see more sharply, as it were. So it uses stars in the magnetic field to navigate this 1,000 kilometers. Now that's amazing to me. I mean, when I drive my car around and the road turns around in circles and I have to turn right, I lose my sense of direction. I mean, thank God my wife has a good sense of direction, whether we're driving or walking along paths. I lose a sense of north-south very quickly. This tiny moth doesn't have a problem. And there are lots of other creatures in nature, like the whales can navigate the seas. The monarch butterfly is able to travel thousands of kilometers using the sun as a navigation way. And so lots of species are able to navigate and move around. And I mean, if you think of fishes swimming around the sea, that big ocean sea, and yet they seem to know where they are and return back to where they want to go. Well, when I'm walking in my wetlands, or even when I'm sitting in the garden and watching these birds fly past in such a sense of that they know exactly where they're going. Sometimes one bird on its own, just moving very fast, sometimes two, sometimes a whole lot of birds moving around seem to know where they're going. And they're moving fast. And navigating skills are amazing. I mean, we know bats have astonishing navigating skills at night time. So, yeah, we've just come back from the Cedarburg, in the mountains over there, and just learning about the way the sun, indigenous people moved around as well in their caves, and the way they were attached to nature, and they were able to work out what plants could be eaten, what plants were not, that were more dangerous or poisonous that they could use on the arrows, for example, and making their fires and painting on the rocks, and the way they lived. Yeah, I find it truly remarkable because I see what's happening to young people today. We're watching TV all the time and with the earphones listening, and I'm wondering to myself, people are no longer in touch with the wonder of nature. I mean, nature is something they learn about at school from their books. I see children running and walking with earphones on. They're not seeing what's happening on the ground around them. Around them is truly remarkable life that is, insects and all kinds of things happening in the ground around them. When I do my walk in the morning in the wetlands, there's a bush that I keep coming across that I keep stopping at because somehow it attracts me. And I stand in front of that bush and greet it every day I walk past and ask it how it's feeling. There is such a sense of the wonder and the sacredness of living things. And I don't see that in children and people who spend most of their time watching TV, And they might be seeing very beautiful things, but there's a difference between what I keep saying between the map and the territory. Maps are maps, and they're as useful as a map is. It's not the territory. So you can look at a map, as I did when I was walking in Cedarburg. We looked at the map and the direction of the map, and we even took the map with us. But you don't walk around looking at the map. You walk around looking at the ground you're walking on, and which you're looking at the wonder of things around you. So we need to be careful in the way we look at the world. If we look at the world from maps, TV, books even, I mean, they're all maps, and they stimulate our thinking mind, and the thinking mind can use imagination to create a whole virtual reality. But that virtual reality is not the real world. The real world is right in front of you. The real world is with your eyes open, looking at somebody's eyes. I don't see people looking with their eyes anymore. When I'm talking to someone, I see their eyes are drifting upwards. They're thinking while I'm talking to them. They're not looking at me. They're not looking with wonder at what they're seeing in front of them. They're looking at their own imagination, their own thinking, what's going on. Very seldom do I find people that actually look at me with their eyes open and a smile on their face, or whatever, but actually looking at the world around, looking at the trees, not allowing the trees to stir up imagination and say, oh, look at that tree over there, I've seen other trees like that before. No, looking at the tree directly, opening your heart to the tree, not opening your mind and thinking, oh, this is a tree, I've seen trees like that before. No. Looking at the tree directly, looking at your partner directly in the eye, not with your eyes sideways because you don't really want to look. What are you afraid of? So for me, this is the sense of wonder about nature, the sense of wonder about living in this world, and the sense of sacredness that I keep coming across everywhere when I look for it. Yeah, so put away the maps, open your eyes and be in touch with the world around you. Have a good day.